What is up? Woo, what a day. What a morning. Welcome to the Transparency Make Yourself Known. We're going to get this over really quick. Please stop spreading this horrible, horrible rumor. Okay? The body cam information is not off an hour. Okay? In 2022, I made a request. This is my request for the identity incident report. Lana Oriani on 12/29/2022 is when I made this request. Okay. 3:38 and 12 seconds. This is off of not a body cam. Stop, please. It matters. I need you to stop. Please stop saying it because it's not accurate. That's all I'm saying. 3:31, the body cam is turned on in 18 seconds. The reason it says the first radio, because that's what the radio is, when he uses his radio to call in the names of these two kids and, hey, what's your name? Okay. Okay. What's your ID? Boom. What do we got? Any warrants? No. Okay. There you go. Black and white. Okay. Now, the undercover plainclothes Jacob Tisdall lied in his report 10 that he said that he left Banfield at 3:32. Nope. He leaves Banfield at his camera goes off at 3:16. He pulls away at 3:19. And then his body cam comes on at 3:31. And that's where he lied in that report 10, when he said that he cleared Banfield at 3:32. Wrong. Okay. So I just proved it all. So please stop. Now we can get to the bombs. Okay. Payne is tripping. Payne straight tripping. Let me show you. We're going to start from the beginning. Okay. This is a copy. I have a huge whiteboard in here. Okay. So this whiteboard right here, I just took a picture of my whiteboard. And so I could then, okay, see? Big old whiteboard. All right. Working on some shit. This is 4 hours of craziness. Okay. 4 hours of craziness. But I put it on. That's my brain. And then watch how I put it all together for you guys. Okay. The state responded and had to fill out a report because they wanted to admit DoorDash records. Okay. And let's go make this bigger. So here's this. This is the state. These documents are maintained, blah, 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 right here. This particular evidence provides a timeline of events, and it's saying for Xana. Doesn't say for Xana and Ethan, for Xana. And right there it says before the homicides, and it corroborates state's witnesses, plural. Okay. And so they wanted this, hey, we want this DoorDash records in, all right? And it shows that DoorDash regarding a delivery. Okay, I was on the phone with DoorDash regarding a delivery, and the timestamp was 3:59. Okay, next. They showed this, which is a certificate of authenticity of business records and regular conducted business activity. There's her name. Now look at the date. The date is November 23rd, 2022. Well, guess when these business records would have come? Ready? Here, we have a report that Maury wrote up. On 12/12, he wrote it up. He said, on December 6th, 2022, I applied and was granted a warrant for all information in DoorDash's possession related to sales, deliveries, purchases, and or transactions made to 1122 King Road in Moscow. So it was like this, okay? Why would Maury ask for a search warrant of the 1122 King Road house if clearly on November 23rd, which is 2 weeks before this was already filled out by somebody from DoorDash. So they've already supplied somebody with these records or some records. Okay. But this is no way can it be possible that this is indicative of what Mowry did on the 6th, because how can something be dated on November 23rd, 2022? Okay. The FBI did it. These records are from the FBI. Okay. Next. The state wanted to include, hey, take a look. This is what our return came back, and 1122 King Road. And then you can see it says 3:59 and 00 seconds, and it has latitude and longitude. Okay. And now we get to the goods. All right, so this is what I did. Give a shout out to Marc. I think me and Marc were on the phone last night. I don't even know, 4 hours. Crazy. Okay, so Jack in the Box to 1122 King Road. It's going to be, these are your 3 possible routes. Okay, and 22 minutes, 21 minutes, 23 minutes. I zoomed in to show you that where you'd be coming from Jack in the Box, okay, is if you're following Google Maps, like what's her tit said she did, Molly, you're coming back in around this way. Here you go. You're right here, 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 here. So then I zoomed in so that everybody could see. And this is the zoom in, which is really important, which is Molly's coming down Blake. Okay, this is Blake. And this would be here. Then you're going Taylor, coming in like that. All right. Any way you slice and dice, if you use either one of those 3 ways to go, you still are going to be coming in like this. Like this is where you're going to be out of those 3 paths. This is how you have to come in. Now, since Linda Lane goes off camera from 3:30 until 4:06, we had to use our ears. And Marc did a fabulous job. And I was like, hey, remember you were hearing a car come down Blake? What time did you have that at? Coming down south, 3:58:11. Okay. Then it goes west on Taylor, just like I showed you a second ago. And then south on King, and it's getting at the corner to turn and be in that area at 3:59:05. Okay. Now, the Elantra that comes at 3, they said that it's the Elantra that comes at 3:56 and some change. And leaves at 3:58 and 43 seconds. This would mean that Molly, this vehicle that you can hear, arrives after this Elantra that they're claiming is the Elantra left. This is why it matters. Payne, so we're going to go back to Payne's interview with Molly that is conducted after the geofence warrant comes back. So This is the date, November 23rd, 2022. And Molly said the delivery at 1122 King Road was her final order. Molly said she could not find the 1122 King Road address as the address number was hidden by the porch light, which caused her to remain in the area for approximately 15 minutes. Payne would have us believing that if Molly's arriving, Payne would have us believing that that means Molly arrived 15 minutes before 3:59. That's what he wants us to believe. Okay. However, Linda Lane blows it up. Linda Lane blows it up because of Molly's, again, this vehicle that's coming down Blake, doing everything that it's supposed to be doing to be arriving and coming from Jack in the Box, and so that you're arriving at 3:59. What that would mean is if Molly actually is getting to the area at 3:59, because then that means you're going to have 15 minutes from 3:59, not before 3:59. And so I actually went back and reverse engineered it to see, okay, what was going on between 3:45 and 3:59? Is there even a possibility, right? No, there's not. So we would be correct here. And Payne wants us to believe that Molly's in the area for 15 minutes, but that it's 15 minutes before she hits the button to say delivered. And I'm going to explain what I mean by this. If Molly gets there, and on my board here, we hear beeps. 3:59 and 46 seconds, 48 seconds, and 51 seconds. You hear the little horn go beep, 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 beep. Okay. This is Molly. 3:59, 46, 48, 51. Then you hear it again at 4 o'clock and 26 seconds, 28 seconds. That's what you hear on Linda Lane. Attributing that to Molly. Attributing it this way, though. Molly pulls in, hits the button, okay, to say it's been delivered, but it hasn't been placed anywhere yet. Because what DoorDash will allow you to do, you have to be in a specific radius of very close proximity to be able to hit the button to say that you delivered. Okay. And I said to myself, why? So that means that I was like, oh shit. So if she pulls in, she hits the button that's like, boom, delivery, right? Then everything that Molly says kicks in then. Her, okay, getting out. Well, that's if you want to believe Molly saying that she pulled into the driveway. But her hitting that button, you have to be within a very close proximity. You can be a couple houses down. It would allow you. But if you're trying to do it from Blake, no, it's going to say that you're not close yet. I believe Molly was interviewed by the FBI prior to this interview. I believe that Molly was either interviewed by the FBI or talked to by Bill Thompson. Okay, they already had her geofence now. Now watch what Payne does. So we're going to go back to this, which is okay. During the time Molly was in the area of the King Road residence, the white Elantra can be seen via the 1112 King Road camera driving back and forth on Walenta Drive, and then enter the King Road / Queen Road loop at approximately 3:56. And I said, oh boy, here you go. 356. A vehicle matching the description of vehicle 1 travels south on King Road and turns east onto Queen Road. Well, guess what, guys? What's the problem? Molly's not there yet, right? Molly's not there yet. Molly's vehicle doesn't arrive until 3:59, which is actually after this vehicle would depart. But hang tight. Brett Payne says that this vehicle, the 356 one, at the point Molly pulled into the front parking lot before she dropped off the order, the white Elantra pulled in behind Molly's vehicle. Wait, come again? So you think between 3:56 a.m. and 3:56 and 3:58 a.m., you think that the white, this Elantra, pulls in behind Molly? Molly's not there. Let me take that back. Molly's vehicle, the vehicle that comes at 3:59, is not there yet. Okay. So, and then I said, wait a second. Who's telling Payne that a vehicle ever pulls in to the 1122 driveway? Somebody that would be reporting that they dropped off Xana, dropped off somebody. Hey, I pulled into that driveway and I dropped Xana off. Why would Payne ever be saying that the vehicle that made the loop at 3:56 to 3:58 pulled in the driveway? Where are you getting that information from? You can't see that on any camera. And then Molly says, according, this is where he wants to put in that, yeah, they pulled in, it was behind this gray Subaru Forester. Or was it actually behind an Explorer? And then it exited the King Road at approximately 3:58. Molly did not mention seeing the white Elantra being behind her at any time. Now, Ann Taylor had this information, and she would have known that. Now, watch what they say this 3:58 car does. Headlights right here at 3:57:27. Okay. The last radio at this place was at 3:47:28. Is that before or after 3:56? That'd be before, right? So this vehicle is now free to, what is it doing after it leaves identity? Okay, this is why I'm saying, please stop spreading the rumors that the car and the body cam are off an hour. They are not. And you're fucking shit up. Because you're wrong. And I love you, but you're wrong. Now, 3:47. Then Jacob wants to write that, he was done working at 3:52. Well, we know that you lied earlier, so why would we ever believe you about that you're done at 3:52? So we don't believe that. Now coming back over here. All right, so here, these people would all know. A vehicle matching the description of vehicle 1 travels west on Queen Road and turns north onto King Road. Headlights can be seen shining on the trees in the west of the intersection of King Road and Taylor indicating the vehicle turned west onto Taylor Avenue. And that's at, see how it's already then leaving? And then here's the 3:59:05. Molly turns, or I should say this vehicle turns onto King coming down from Blake. Okay. She then hits the button that's delivered to say that she's delivered the DoorDash, but ready? She gets lost. And Payne would know this because Molly's in the area, or her phone is in the area because it's on this geofence. If Molly, in fact, took a picture, don't you think it would have been in evidence? In fact, they don't use Molly's shit at all. They want to use the 1122 King Road deliveries that came to that house. That's what they want to use. Why wouldn't they use anything to do with Molly shit? I continued to question Molly about her time near the residence. She told me she walked down Queen Road at one point with her flashlight out. Molly can be seen doing so on the footage from blank King Road. Well, we know how like Payne likes to write shit. And so when he asked her, I continue to question Molly about her time near the residence. Well, is that during the third trip? Is that during the second trip? Is that during the first trip, Payne? Molly also continued to tell me that she wanted to keep on saying there was this female, long dark hair in the house. Molly then said she drove to the back, or I'm sorry. Molly said that she initially parked in the front of 1122 King Road, in the front of it. Does not mean that she pulled into the driveway. She initially parked in the front of it. That could just be like you pulled up and you're still on the road, but you didn't pull into the driveway. She said that she initially parked in the front of 1122 King Road. Very important. She never says that she goes into the driveway. And could see a female in the top left window. Payne's attributing that to the bathroom. Molly said that she saw the same female a couple more times in the same window, and she would duck down. Okay, well, guess when that's going to be between 4 and 4:15. Molly then said she drove to the back parking lot. Ready? The beeps that we hear. So she gets out the first time. The horn, you hear 3:59, 46, 48, 51. Then she's going to claim, okay, gets back in the vehicle. You hear the honks again at 4 o'clock and 26 seconds, 4 o'clock and 28 seconds. Then she's going to drive to the back. Why? Okay. Well, because she looked down at her app and it said that you want to walk around. So she just continued to drive around like she would. So she's not making that loop. She's not making a loop. She's going to go up that side street that's right next to the house and go to the back. And then this is when Molly says, then I walked down because I was going to try to go in the way they're saying, but I didn't feel I'm not going to go through the back. This is when she's walking back north, and she sees, now this is where it should blow everybody's mind. That's when she says she sees this sedan, this tan sedan with one person, the dome lights are on. And then we go back to the drawing board. And I said, whose car could that be? Whose car could that be? The reason I say whose car that could be is because nobody makes the loop. So if it's coming down, it would be somebody that parked in the back and that's leaving. Okay. Somebody that's parked in the back and that would be leaving. Because nobody made that loop. Until you get to 4:07. 405, that area, which we've never seen that car come in. But let's go back to what Molly says. And Payne was realizing. When Molly said that she saw a tan sedan, this is what Payne's answer is. Subsequent investigation of video footage and cellular data show the tan sedan Molly saw was likely a light-colored SUV which left the area. When? What time? You see how Payne's not putting a timestamp? Payne's not putting any timestamps. Why? That's like the purpose of a report. Now, Payne says that when Molly's in the area, okay, this car couldn't have been the one that pulled in behind her because she doesn't get there yet. He says when Molly's in the area, the Elantra is going back and forth, okay? But hang tight. So Molly's there. This is where at 3:59 and 4 seconds. Headlights are seen traveling south on Walenta. Then at 4 o'clock and 14 seconds, headlights are seen traveling north on Walenta. Then at 4:01, so between this point and this point, remember we said that this is the vehicle. This would be the this is the 356, 358 vehicle that they're saying travels along Taylor, okay, so that it can be seen as the 1125 Ridge Road apartment 108 sighting. And do you remember Ann Taylor? She said they knew that that wasn't the car. They knew that that was the wrong car traveling at the wrong time. Like that they knew this. They had knowledge of it. So when you're going to go ahead and use this video to identify the 405, 407 sighting, you knew that that this car was not that car. And so I know that Marc B is in chat. Marc B, can you hear a vehicle traveling along Taylor between 4:14 and 4:01 in 30 seconds? Because remember, this is the vehicle that Payne is saying pulled into the driveway. Okay. Exactly. Yes, you can, can't you? But which way does it go? So let me walk this back just so I can make sure everybody's following right here. The 356 car that comes in, does a loop around. That's the car that Payne says that pulled in behind Molly. Okay. Because it pulled into the driveway, right? How would Payne know that that car that just made the loop around at 356 and then leaves out at 358, how would he ever be able to say in a report to say that that vehicle pulled in behind Molly so that he could say that he saw her gray Subaru Forester? That would have to be a witness. That would have to be somebody dropping off Xana. Ethan's passed out. Xana went somewhere, right? Nobody knows where Xana is. Remember now? Now we have Bethany saying Xana was wearing all black. The only person that could tell Payne that that car did this, what it says it did, like right here. During the time Molly was in the area of the King Road residence, the white Elantra can be seen via the King Road camera going back and forth on Molenta. So what he wants everyone to believe is that this is happening up here. That during the time she was in the area, here's your Elantra. Headlights seen traveling south on Molenta. Headlights seen traveling south on Molenta. Headlights seen traveling north on Molenta. All this is happening while Molly's there. And then he doesn't realize that one day there's going to be a sleuth that comes along and says, oh, buddy, you done messed yourself. Because the car that's coming from Blake, that's the DoorDash, we hear all that stuff. You guys tried to get rid of the video, but you could still hear on the parking lot camera. And that's at 3:59 and some change. And that would be after your Elantra would have left. That you said came at 3:56 and leaves at 3:58. And then for Payne to be able to write this in and try to say that at the point that Molly pulled into the front parking lot before she dropped off the order, so he's trying to say this is before she dropped off the order, the white Elantra pulled in behind Molly's vehicle. That person's going to say that they saw a gray Subaru Forester. I'm telling you, that's what was going to happen. And it was going to be the person, in my opinion, whoever dropped somebody off and then exited the King Road. Was the state going to come with a little pow pow and talk about two vehicles being used in this case? Molly says, I didn't see any vehicles. Don't you think you would know if somebody pulled in behind you in a parking lot at 4 o'clock in the morning? Remember there's two vehicles on the geofence warrant? That was of interest. Remember everybody's trying to figure out where Ethan and Xana were? Well, the only person that could ever tell, and this is why I believe that Ann Taylor was like, they knew that the 356 and 358 car was not Brian. And they knew that car, if that's your 401 Ridge car that you're taking everything from, that's the car that dropped somebody off that pulled in the driveway. Because when you follow this along, that's exactly where it leads to, is that your 401 and Jay Lawson was adamant that they knew that this was not the vehicle that's at 405 being seen coming in. And that's all that matters here, guys. I kept on asking myself, why is it so important that you're talking about these loops and every single car has to be Brian Kohlberger's car or the killer's car? Well, because the 420 car leaving, you can't tell what car it is. So you're going with this pattern that it's more probable than not that that's the vehicle because it was making loops at 3. It was making 330, then 338, then 356. Then now it comes back at 405. Well, let's really look at what happened here at 405. They're saying that the Ridge Road car, it's a matching description. Here we go. 1125 Ridge Road. Then at 404, headlights are seen traveling north on Walenta. But we never see the car. We've never seen it to this day, the entrance of that car at 405. 404 and 56 seconds. 405 and 31 seconds. You see? Where's the 1-1? Where's that? Has anybody out there ever seen the video of it coming in at 404 and 20 seconds? If you just start with this being Brian's car, there's a problem with that, because how can you just say that the 420 car zooming off and leaving is the same vehicle that came in at 404 and 20 seconds? How do you just make that? How do you make that connection? In fact, the work that we've done over here, we believe that the 330, 339, 356, those vehicles do not match the 405 and the 407 sighting car. That's actually different than the ones that came in for the three loops around. So now let's look at something. At 319, after the Banfield incident is all done and over with, at 316, shuts up his body cam. Then we see the undercover car leaving on Taylor from the Linda Lane camera, and it's heading west on Taylor. And then at 419, we see a vehicle coming back on Taylor, and some change, which would be right when all the texting begins on the phones. This vehicle leaving at 319 is similar to the vehicle that's coming at 419. And then now this vehicle that comes at 404, Molly's there. Molly's there still at 404, based on based on the report. I'm sorry, based on when she would have arrived at 3:59. If she says that she stays in the area for 15 minutes, it wasn't 15 minutes before the 3:59. It was 15 minutes after the 3:59. And they just say approximately 15 minutes. That's putting Molly McMichael getting really close to that 420 time. It's also putting her there during the time of the crime, right? And why do you think that law enforcement was so adamant in finding out the geo? Who are these two who do these phones belong to? They're there during the time of the crime. A vehicle matching the description of vehicle 1 pulls partially into east side parking lot of the 500 Queen Road apartment buildings from the north side of the building. The vehicle matches the description of vehicle 1, then completes a 3-point turn and returns westbound along north side of the apartments. This is the first time, that it doesn't make the same loop around that it's always done. Now, go to Jacob Tisdall's report, report 10. He makes it a point to say in his report, Each time we patrolled this area, I drove the same route. Why? Why would that be so important to write that? I drove the same route every time. Well, guess what we also put out already is that we don't have any cars making any loops between midnight 12 and 3:29. So from midnight to 3:29, there is no cars doing any loops. So you couldn't have made any loops like this report says, unless it was before midnight. But he continues to say that he believed, to the best of his recollection, between 2 and 3, that he made this loop. We say, there's another damn lie. That just didn't happen. And so going back to this, which is, it begins with, each time we patrolled this area, I drove the same route. First time that it does something different, it's heading back. At 4:06 and 9 seconds, headlights are visible in a window reflection. First time we see that. As well as on the exterior of 1119, indicating the vehicle is facing west on Queen Road. The lights appear to move slowly, indicating the vehicle is descending the hill while passing by the front of the victim's residence. Now, isn't this also possible? Ready? Okay, ready? That Molly says she was in the front first. She couldn't see the letters or the numbers. So then she looks at her GPS. Okay, I got to go back. I'm going to go around the house. So I'm going to go park in the back. Where's my little diagram of the house? It'll help. Oh, yeah, right here. So she's back over here behind the house. And then she starts to walk, right? Here, going like this. And when she's walking down along, that's where she says she sees the tan vehicle with the one person. Okay. Then she says she walks Queen. And then Payne says, oh, yeah, we see her on camera. Allegedly, supposedly, right? With her flashlight out, really? And then she decides, oh, wait, I'm going to walk back, get in my car, and then do what? Come back down and pull down, and then pull into the driveway. And now, could those lights be at 4:06? Remember, we've never seen the car come in at 4:05. They've never shown us that car that came in at 4:05. But we do see it when it does this 3-point turn on Dateline, and they put some, they use like a filter over the part of the vehicle, right? So at 4:06 and 31 seconds, a vehicle matching the description of vehicle 1 travels west on Queen Road, performing a U-turn at the intersection with Queen Road, then travels east on Queen Road. Now, remember what Molly said is there was this vehicle that drove past her, right? It was one person in the car, goes past her. Is there any chance that the tan car could have also done that? Then we have one of the Davids back there. I don't know if he was on foot or in a car. Then Payne puts an SUV that, based off of data from cellular data, he says that, oh, that tan car, no, that was like a light colored SUV, probably, most likely. just because she clicked the button, she delivered at 3:59. Then all this I got lost in shit starts happening. Then now you're going to hear at 4:07 and 28 seconds, a vehicle matching the description of vehicle 1 travels east along the north side of 500 Queen Road. The vehicle turns south along the east side of the building, then turns west along the south side of the building. The vehicle matching the description of vehicle 1 exits the frame, traveling west in the direction of the victim's residence. And that's what we see circling around. Headlights of the vehicle turning north onto Queen Road briefly shine on the exterior of 1127 King Road. There is no subsequent vehicle activity captured for the approximate 13 minutes after these headlights are seen. And then, boom, we have the car that speeds away. A vehicle matching the description of vehicle 1 travels westbound on King Road at a high rate of speed, turning north onto King Road. Headlights can be seen shining on trees to the west of the intersection of King Road and Taylor Avenue, indicating the vehicle turned west onto Taylor Avenue. Well, fuck, it sounds like Molly brought Brian. Okay? That's what it looks like to me. How can you rule out that the 420 car here, you have absolutely no idea what vehicle that is? We have no idea what vehicle truly Molly was in. The 356 car did not park behind Molly because Molly wasn't there yet, according to the vehicle that you have to account for coming down Blake, turning on Taylor, and then coming back to the King Road area at exactly 3:59. Then you have to account for Molly's geofence, her geofence, which is that's how you went after her in the first place. Then you have to ask yourself, why in the world or how in the world, whose DoorDash records are these that were obtained on November 23rd? Because there's no report of anybody going and doing it. Oh, wait, it's the feds. The FBI did this. Because they did it after on November 22nd, I applied for and was granted a pen warrant for any data associated with the phone number blank, which was linked to a possible witness. And then I said to myself, you would never call this person a witness, okay, unless you've already talked to them or somebody did. And that goes hand in hand with either the FBI or Bill Thompson talked to Molly and, hey, oh wait, yeah, no, I was just the DoorDash. Well, then stuff started not to add up. Now let's take a look at Floyd's. They want to use Floyd's because they said that they see a white sedan at 3:02. Okay. How many trips did Molly say that she made over to that area? 302, based on the records, it could not have been Brian. That's why you needed his phone to shut off at 2:47 and not consider where it was at 2:54, because it would have never been able to be the 302 Floyd. Okay. I did it from Southwest Nevada Street to Floyd's is 9 minutes. 9 minutes, 6.1 miles. Okay. That's saying that you are actually at this close location versus if you are actually going the opposite way, then you have to add that on. And at 2:54, if you're the opposite way, to be able to get over there and be on Floyd's, also if you were on Floyd's, and guess what you would also have is, why don't you have any cameras after Floyd's between here to coming in to town? Next, the PCA wants to talk about TikTok. The actual records show that 316, not 412, 316. Then this is how I was able to prove that the AT&T third phone did not belong to Jack D, but instead it was Jack Showalter, because Ethan, Bethany, and Jack D, they had Verizon. So I was able to eliminate, because there was a couple of people that they were interested in. One of the persons of interest in the beginning was somebody that had a AT&T phone. So you can eliminate Jack D. The state said they were going to AT&T phone records for Mr. Kober, Madison, and Xana. Mr. Kober notes that these records are one copy of several copies obtained during the course of the case. This folder also contains records related to someone else. Someone else. The state has not provided any specifics related to what it intends to rely on or use as evidence, nor a certificate that the records were made and kept in the course of regular business activity, and if it was the regular practice of that business to keep those records. Mr. Kober seeks exclusion of these records based on the state's incomplete expert disclosures. This is the defense's response about DoorDash. The 4/5/2023 disclosure is a DoorDash search warrant return. The warrant return contains photographs, a list of deliveries to 1122 King Road, and span as far back as 2019, photographs, period, like plural, and a spreadsheet of communication between the person ordering the food and the DoorDasher. The state has not specified which of these records it intends to use at trial, how they were made and kept, This is how the state presented the DoorDash again. It was these documents are maintained by a business. The state would seek admission of these documents pursuant to 803.6. The state may rely on the attached record, State's Exhibit S9, from DoorDash regarding a delivery to 1122 King Road on November 13th at 3:59 a.m. This particular evidence provides a timeline of events, and it's only for Xana, before the homicides, and corroborates state's witnesses, plural. This was provided to the defendant on May 26, 2023. Again, Ann's team's response is the 4/5/2023 disclosure is a DoorDash search warrant returns. Search warrant, not subpoena. So she says it like that for a reason. Molly shit that was done was for it had to be FBI on November 23. So the warrant returns contain photographs, a list of deliveries. So that would have been the December 6th, 2022 Maori shit. And Taylor wants to know where's the she wants to know where this daddy is that you're using as an exhibit. Where's this puppy? How is somebody producing records on November 23rd, 2022 when you served a warrant on December 6th? She wants this return. Now, let's go back to what Molly said in her what she told people in 2024, that she's like, oh my God, I saw Brian, right? Oh my God, I'm going to be testifying. I parked right next to him. The state is seeking broad authority to provide in the future a certification for records listed above. These records are extensive. They contain several terabits of video and thousands of pages. The state has obtained these records in a variety of ways. Some came through police work doing video canvassing. Others came from search warrant services, and many came through federal grand jury subpoenas. Mr. Kober provides as an exhibit a copy of the federal grand jury subpoena. He was provided inadvertently. He was not supposed to get this. He sought all grand jury subpoenas through discovery and motion to compel. He was not provided copies other than this inadvertently produced copy. Of interest and in support of his objection to the state's motion is that records were dual produced by search warrant and subpoenas. The copy of records is not identical in every production. Do you know what that means? The copy of the records, if both people are asking for the same thing, if the feds are asking for something in a subpoena, and then Maori is like being told, hey, get right up for a search warrant for DoorDash. Okay. I'm just using that as an example. And saying that the production is different, but it's for the same period of time. So going back to what Payne said when he said, on November 23rd at approximately 8:39, Molly came to the Moscow Police Department to be interviewed about her presence in the area. Molly was identified as being in the area through records obtained from DoorDash. That's actually right now. Okay, remember I said, I was like, that's not possible because they didn't have it. Well, guess what? Guess what? That means Payne knew that the FBI subpoenaed in November 2023, or they subpoenaed it before it because they got the returns back on November 2023 because of this. That means Payne knew about it. They're all fucking lying. Payne knew about this. That proves it. That proves that Payne knew about this. Because at first I said, wait a second, no. They didn't identify her through DoorDash. Okay. But the reason that he can write that on his report on November 23rd is because, think of how crazy this is. You can write that is because you know about the FBI's return. Whatever they got from this. But he doesn't. Molly was identified as being in the area through records obtained from DoorDash via a search warrant. No, bitch. Via a federal subpoena. That's a lie. It's a subpoena. FBI, it's federal. So he knew that they got it through the feds and was confirmed as being in the area based off of geofence warrant. But I still tell you guys that came first. And now we get into so many things can now be, there's so many possibilities right now. Somebody was going to testify that they saw Molly's Forester. I'm telling you. And I think they're confusing it for the Explorer. Just saying. Also, what time did the Explorer come in? Remember they wanted the middle console of the vehicles to know what time those vehicles came in? If there's anything that you can use on the infotainment center of the vehicle to see what time it was being drove. Let me tell you what I do. I'll be at the ballpark and I'll order DoorDash for it to be sent to my house. And I'm at the ballpark finishing up a soccer game, and I ordered up so that the food's there, and like basically when I'm gonna be thinking that I'm gonna be home for my kid, right? You know, on those crunch nights where you have games and practices, and yeah. So if now remember on the DoorDash app, you can literally track your driver and see where they're going and doing everything. So Xana would have got the notification at 3:59 that the DoorDash was delivered. Oh fuck, my food's there. I'm heading back. Or hey, bring me back over there. My food's there. Okay. Only thing is that when Xana gets there, the food's if she would have got there right around the same time, a little bit after, the food wasn't, it was clocked in, but was it truly there in front of the door yet? And the way that Molly speaks is no, that she couldn't find it right away. But I think she clocked it right away, and that's what kept her in the area. Or is Molly just saying that? Or is Molly just everything that comes after the fact of dropping it off at 3:59 and you clock it in and there's actually a picture? But hey, Molly, how come the geofence warrant? Molly, how come the geofence warrant? It has you not leaving the area until 4:20. Oh, let me explain this. And then it's then prepared beforehand. Remember, Bill Thompson knows Molly. Remember when Payne said that he made this map? Lies. Remember when Payne said that he made, and Sarah's like, where'd you get these maps from? Oh, I just outsourced it and, just made it in like a, like a PowerPoint type thing. Just print it out. Oh, really? And then this map with all the arrows and shit. And he said, oh, it's just like no, it's not just anything. How many times do you think the police would have known or would have worked with Linda Lane to know when a camera is not working, like it's being rebooted? Because you would have worked with them in the past, and you would then know what time the camera is supposedly offline. I would think a lot. They needed to reverse engineer this. And they were just tweaking everything. But they knew too early on that they needed to reverse engineer this. And I said, oh my God, here it is. This is why. Because they knew that they were using IgG, which you're supposed to use last. Okay. So that's your photo. This vehicle was not identified from surveillance footage in the area. 3:59 3:56 and 30 seconds. And she decides to use this clip. Why this clip? I always wondered, why is Ann Taylor using this clip? Well, now I know why Ann Taylor used this clip. Because this is what Payne, she basically, when Payne would have saw this, he would have been shitting his pants. They all would have been shitting themselves. You wonder why a plea deal happened? This stuff could not come out. This was all going to come out. All of this stuff's going to come out. Again, this does not mean that Brian Cooper is not the guy. But Ann Taylor could have used the picture at what? She chose this picture to put in there. And she says, this vehicle was not identified from surveillance footage in the area of 1122 King Road. The surveillance footage comes from a residence at 1112 King Road. It depicts the corner of King and Queen Road and to the house with the camera. For that footage, lights from vehicles can be seen on Walenta Road, a north/south roadway next to the neighborhood. And she used the footer right here. I'm sorry, she used this picture, and then the one before it was a 356 one, okay? And underneath, she's saying, these photos are from the 1112 King Road camera. Special Agent Immel did not make a vehicle identification, was not made from this footage. Rather, as noted in emails between Mr. Immel and FBI Special Agent Edward Jacobson, it is clear that the identification of the make and model of the vehicle in this video was made via a separate video taken at 1125 Ridge Road, right? And basically, 329, 1125 Ridge Road. And I'm going to show you guys something. And 401 Ridge Road, like that. So you have 329 and 401. And then she uses the 356 pick. Okay. Because I believe Ann Taylor was going to do this. .356 to 358, 329, 401. Those are all possible sightings because the 329 is at the Ridge Road, and you have the option to then go when you go. That's coming from like doing like the Indian Hills Loop, and what it did here is this is how it gets back over by identity. It goes. Okay, this is closer. This is Lauder here. and you'd be coming from over that way from where Indian Hills is coming at like the 3:26 time. And I know that that's the undercover. And so how they did this is you go, when you come across, so everybody see that? So 3:26 over there in Indian Hill, because the cops were going to go back. They go to the Groves and they go around Indian Hills and they're going to come out that way. And this is where they were over here at 3:26. And that's how What's Her Tits knew. Danny Vargas knew to go get that lady's camera because they have used her before. So this is your 3:26 is over here and 3:27. Then you're going across and the 3:29, okay? And then it comes up, goes back around, and that's how it goes off to identity. And when they would have actually seen it, the guy with the sign, he gets it from, remember that's Quickie, like that Sunset Mart. They have cameras over there, and there's a sighting over there as well around like 3:31 and some change, but it's off like a minute and some odd time. But that's going off of like the FBI and stuff. But this is what makes sense to me is that, and then this is the undercover car, when it clears out over at the Identity Apartments over there, that's at 3:48 a.m. And then you're ready for this. So that Jacob says that, oh yeah, we were done at 3:55 or 3:52 a.m. Well, then do you want to know what Ann Taylor went and did? Why is Ann Taylor wanting to know the make and models of all the people that drive vehicles for the Moscow Police Department? Their personal use vehicle. This is the vehicle that they say pulled in and parked behind Molly. Payne did. Well, in my opinion, that's the undercover vehicle. That's the vehicle that Molly would eventually see. Remember there was a guy, spiky blonde hair. Lines up pretty interesting. And then this vehicle, the 356 and 358 vehicle, then that becomes your 401 sighting. So they're saying when this vehicle leaves, it goes this way, loops around up here, turns around, comes back down, goes along Taylor, and then comes back right down here. And it's at the intersection there at 401, and then comes back this way and is looping around, goes like this, and then that's your 4:05 a.m. Okay. Again, what vehicle is that? And at the very least, when a jury would see this, it's reasonable doubt. And then when you show that somebody lied in a report, so if I was, let me just put it to you this way: if I was to, and I'm fucking not an attorney, know that I'm not an attorney, but if they're like, hey, your life's on the line, you have to cross-examine Tisdall, okay? This is how I would do it. You were doing plain clothes, right? How often do you do that? When did you do that before that night? When did you do it before that night? You know, keep going back and say, okay, so to find out if that was something that always happened, you know, have you ever had an incident over at the Linda Lane apartments where you've ever had to use footage from Linda Lane to, you know, investigate somebody breaking into a car or anything like that? Have you ever had to use those cameras before? Have you ever had any run-ins with the owner of those cameras? So then you would be aware that there's a big gap from 3:30 to 4:06, right? Maybe says, no, I've never done that before. Okay, great. Do you remember writing up a report in this case? Yep, sure do. How many do you think you wrote up? Just a couple, maybe one or two. Okay. You were on patrol at the band field. You had to like pull kids over that were walking and you thought they were drunk. And you thought that they were staggering down the steps, you said. Where do those steps lead from? Where's that at? Here's a map pointed out. Right from the 1122 King Road house? Okay. You said in a report that you were making patrol loops in the back over there in that area, right? And you made the same loop every time? And you wrote it in a report outlining what you did, you know, every time. Did the lead investigator in this case ever ask you to look at camera footage to point out your vehicle on Linda Lane so that you could identify when you were making the loops or when you would have thought you were making loops based on encounters that you had that night? Like you couldn't have been obviously making a loop during the time of 3 or 2:52 to 3:16 because you were on in the band field, you're on body cam. We know where you're at, right? Cops ever ask you to do that? What reference material did you use to make up your write up your report when you wrote up your report on 11/15/2022 for your anything that you handled on 11/13, 11/12? Did you use body cam? Did you use radio logs? Would it help to refresh your memory if you saw your report? Sure. Okay. That doesn't help. I'm not refreshed. I don't remember any of this. I have amnesia. Okay, well. Let's see. Here you go. Was that your report? Oh, yeah, that's me. That's my report. Oh, yeah, that's me. So you wrote at 1:30 in the morning on 11/15? Okay, perfect. What time does it say that you cleared a incident at Banfield? I think it says 3:32. Where'd you get that information from? I mean, you didn't write 3:30. You didn't write like approximately 3:30. I mean, you said 3:32. So, and then you said 3:52. You concluded at 3:52. Where'd you get that number from? Here's your body camera. What time does it say that you were done with those people? Oh, I'm back in the car at 3:16. That's when I shut my body cam off at 3:16. Okay, so 3:16, you were done. So not 3:32? Well, just because I'm in my car, I was probably still making, filling out reports and whatnot. Okay, well, I'm going to show you a clip. Play the lane camera footage. There it is. Started at 3:16. Let it run. Okay, pause. Did you see how the lights just came on? What time does that say? And that's on Taylor? Okay, let it play. There you go, stop. What time does that say? 3:19? Do you think that's your vehicle pulling away at 3:19? Okay. Well, how about this? How about your body cam? You had another stop at 3:31 and 17 seconds, 11 seconds. A guy with a sign, right? Okay. Well, if you said that you were done at 3, there. Upon review of my radio history, you chose to use your radio history, right? I contacted 3 individuals at 2:55. To the best of my recollection, this was after exiting King Street, after seeing the individuals at 1122 King Street. You said to the best of your recollection, but it could have been after that, right? Okay, so we cleared this contact at 3:32. You see that? And you see how you started, it says upon review of my radio history? Well, the next body cam that you put on is at 3:31, and you're at Identity in their parking lot. For this incident. 3:31, your body cam comes on. Then you make the first radio call in at 3:38. So if your body cam's on at Identity, there's no way that you're clearing that incident at 3:32, right? So here we have from 3:19 to 3:31 and 18 seconds. Is there a reason that you were trying to have yourself accounted for being somewhere all the way until clearing Banfield at 3:32? Is there a reason for that? Because I don't know how one could look at the radio log and possibly mix that up. If you truly use your radio log, like that's not on there. In fact, if you would have looked at your body cam, you would have seen, okay, wait, there's a discrepancy here. Like, hang on. Right? Now, are you aware that a car was circling 4 or 5 times, 3, 4 or 5 times, a white or a light color sedan? What kind of vehicle were you guys in that night? Okay. Are you aware that we have at 3:30, 3:39, 3:56, and 4:05? Where are you at 3:30? Where are you at 3:29? Where are you? So at 3:39, you're over there dealing with this other incident, right? Over there, Identity. Okay. And then 3:56, where are you? Oh, we were done. Oh, because you wrote this. That's why you're done? Because you put it down that you were done at 3:52. That means that you're done. But your report would be as accurate. That number would probably be as accurate as this number, right? At 3:32. That's about how accurate this would be, right? Now, are you aware we could sit here and watch a video for 3 hours, 3.5 hours. You said you were making these loops around and you made the same loop every time. You made the same loop every time. And then you actually gave a description of your loop and how you would travel. And the way that you describe this loop is the exact same way that the FBI describes the loop of the person that's driving this light colored vehicle. Are you aware of that? No. Okay, so who were you doing patrol with that night? Did he write up a report? No, he didn't. Nobody asked him to write one up. Are you aware that your partner that night, just a couple months prior to that, took a picture of Kaylee Gonsalves's ID? Are you aware of that? Have you ever taken a picture of someone's ID when you're working? So if you said that you made several patrol passes through the area, and one of them was between 2 and 3, and we sat here and showed you video, and there's nobody making any loops between that time, are you just mistaken? Now you said that you saw what you thought were people. When was it on one of your loops? Well, here, let me go back for a second. We have you unaccounted for from 3:19 until 3:31, right? We don't know where you're at, right? And you wrote that you were heading back. Let's see. Okay. So that one of the loops that you made, you saw a dark colored vehicle, you thought? During one of the patrols in this area while approaching the southwest corner of 500 Queen Road, I recall seeing a darker colored vehicle with taillights on. A darker colored vehicle. Now, you don't say whether it's a sedan or an SUV, right? It's just a darker colored vehicle. You don't say whether it's an SUV or a sedan. This vehicle was parked facing south on the south side of the parking lot. That'd be the parking lot of the house, right? Toward the west end. There was a short section of the parking lot which extended to the west of 500 Queen Road, south of 1122 King Street. So that was back behind the house, right? Okay. Which was where the vehicle was? Okay. And you thought it was that you were back there right before you stopped the kids in Banfield, right? All right, let's play this clip here. Pause it right there. What's that a picture of? Is that a body worn camera? Okay, is that yours? What's the timestamp? 350, 252, 253? Okay. And where are you? Are you in the Whites parking lot? Yep, sure am. Okay. So, and right after that is when you stop those kids, right? If you need to read your report. Yeah, we traveled northwest side of the apartment complex. I saw several individuals approaching the residence at 1122. During this detail, I was looking for alcoholic beverages open. Okay, so you saw them approaching the house? And so now we've been able to eliminate the fact that this was not between midnight and 3:30. So are you sure that this couldn't have been after then 3:30? And you saw individuals approaching the house? Was there anybody leaving the house? And this is when you thought that you saw a dark colored vehicle behind the house? Since we made several patrols through the area, I cannot say with 100% confidence I saw the vehicle on the same pass as I saw the individuals, right? And then upon review of my radio history, I contacted 3 individuals at Taylor, which is the whites, right? Okay. Now, where were you? Where'd you come from? Were you in the parking lot of Taylor just chilling there? Because we don't have your vehicle. Nobody's making any loops between midnight and 3:30. So I'm curious where you were between midnight and 2:52, 2:53. So did you see all those people leaving, those 3 boys leaving from the 111? What house were they leaving from? Were they leaving from the King Road house? The part where 1122? So that would have been at 2:55, 2:53. How did you see them leave if you're on the bottom level of where the whites is? Were you in your vehicle to begin it? Were you out of your vehicle? Do you guys have flashlights? Do you guys have gloves? Are you guys wearing all black when you work? Wasn't it pretty cold out? Do you guys have like a ski mask type, like to cover your ears? I think it's like a balaclava. Because you're walking around. Do you have flashlights? You said okay. Did you have your gun while you were working? Is it like in a big bulge on the side of your pants? Where's it at? You have it in the front, side? I mean, you're undercover, right? So you kind of like hide it. So do you put it like in a... Okay, so we don't have you driving down on the 1112 camera, because you said that you would have made like the loop, and if you're coming down and the house is on your left hand side, right before all that, it would have been the loop to come around and be seen on Linda Lane, right? And so you're not seen there. Did you have your car parked in the back parking lot for an extended period of time? How do you get to the whites down there at 2:52? Where were you coming from? Did you look at do you have like CAD notes? Did you have like reports where you're clocking in, where your vehicle's going? No, you're in that undercover car, right? So you don't have anything like that. We just have our radios on us. Okay. So, and I'm just, you said you saw them staggering down the stairs, right? So, did you ever tell Officer Payne your whole night? Did they have you like walk on through? Did you tell him what you saw, that they were leaving from the house? Are you aware that the roommate said that everybody was home by 2 and asleep by 4, that they were watching movies, that there was a dog missing? Did you hear dog barking? You thought you saw some blonde girls? You thought maybe you saw 3 girls? Not just one that was outside, but 3. And this would have been right before the 252. Are you aware that are you aware that the surviving roommate said that they went to bed? One of them went to bed at 2:30, and the other one was in her room by between 2 and 2:30. So, and you saw 3 females. And that would have been right before the Banfield incident. And then that's right after you then lie in a report that you clear a scene at 3:32, but you really cleared at 3:19. Is there a reason that you don't want anybody to know where you were between 3:19 and 3:32? And now in another report that you wrote, you said that you were on your way home, or I'm sorry, on your way back to the police station when you, let me pull it out for you. 1 second, Your Honor. Let's see. I think we have it right here. Yes. That's the one I wanted. Okay, perfect. I'm sure you probably don't remember any of this stuff. It's been a long time. And here you go. There's your report. On November 13th, 2022, at about 3:38 hours, I was working a plainclothes detail for minors in possession. And it says that your report that you wrote says, while en route back to the Moscow Police Department. So we're going to put a map up here. Okay, perfect. We'll zoom in for you. Can you mark where the police department is? Yeah, the police department is like down over here. And so this would be like that South View Street. Yeah. And then back over here is like the Groves, right? And then this goes like wraps around, and then it becomes what, like Indian Hill, and then there's Snyder, and then it comes out like that, right? Something like that. Yeah. And then when you go across it goes to Lauder, right? Or you can go make a right, and that's like Main 95, right? And then what's up over here? Is this where that identity is over here? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So you were heading back to the police department, according to your report, right? Well, en route back to the police department to conclude the detail, I observed 2 male subjects walking in the parking lot of Identity. Okay, well, I'm going to need you to explain this to me. Okay. If you tried to say that at 3:32 you cleared this scene right over here, right? But you really didn't. Right? So, well, let's go with what you said. 3:32, you're heading back to the police department, right? Which would be a right. Now, if you're heading back to the police department, why would you have gone left? Because after this stop at Banfield, right? Because what you says on our way back to the police department, we observed two. You said you observed two males at identity. Okay. What time do you put down that you observed them? 3:38? Okay. Are you aware that your body cam comes on at 3:31 and 18 seconds? Okay. So then what do? I pulled into the lot to contact the two males. Well, I thought you said that you observed the two male subjects walking in the parking lot of identity. So did you actually see them on Main Street? Did you witness them when they were actually on the Main Street? Because if you pulled onto and into the parking lot and you said that you did that after you saw them, how could you see them? And it sits really far back, doesn't it? When you have to drive back through there. So how could you possibly have seen them from 95? Isn't it true that you were over here in Indian Hills over here, and that the male that actually was walking back, he dropped somebody off at the Groves, right? And he was walking back, and right here at the A&W Sunset Mart, right? He's walking back, and that's where he grabs a sign from, right? And you saw it because you were back over here coming up out of Indian Trails, right? Indian Hills. And so that would have put you, in order to be over here at 3:31 and 18 seconds, it'll put you over here because, like you said, you were heading back to the police department. And then you just decided what? Make a loop, come on out. No, you don't recall any of this? So you never told anybody that you made this type of a loop? You saw the kid walking from the Groves and that your car would have been then on Indian Hills, and then you didn't ever tell this to Danny Vargas, Detective Vargas, that, hey, maybe you need to go get camera footage over there. You can see where we were. That's where we were. Because you're trying to explain to somebody where you were, right? Because you were catching a lot of heat, you and the other fellow, weren't you? Online, people were going ham at you guys, right? But you wrote up your report on 11/15 before anybody was going ham on you online, right? Okay. So who did you ever tell that you were over on Indian Hills Trails that night around 3:30? Now, you said that you were tasked with alcohol-related. It says, I was working in plainclothes detail for minors in possession or consumption of alcohol and other related alcohol or drug offenses. How was that fit in with the sign? Did you think that they were transporting drugs in the sign? Did you think that they were just drunk? For this guy to be carrying the sign, he's got to be fucked up. Here, we're going to pull him over or stop him rather. Okay. And then what does this say right here? I certify and declare under the penalty of perjury pursuant to the law of the state of Idaho that everything that you wrote in here is true and accurate to the best of your recollection, right? And you wrote that on your other report, right? This one. I certify and declare under the penalty of perjury pursuant to the law in the state of Idaho that the foregoing is true and correct, right? This isn't correct though, right? And you weren't making loops between 12 and 3:30. And we have no idea where you were between 3:19 and 3:31. But you were in that white or silver, rather light color. What is that? And you use this report, this radioactivity, right, to write up this report to say that this happened at 3:38, right? At 3:38, right? When reported, right? But your body cam's on at 3:31 and you're in the parking lot, right? So you actually saw them at 3:31 in 18 seconds. Is there a reason that you chose to go with this 3:38? Isn't it true that you did that so that you could write on this report that you cleared that scene at 3:32? And now you're going to have to, I'm trying to square up your reports here. You wrote these so early on, Officer Tisdale, like 11:15. Did you know something at 11:15? That you needed to somehow have an alibi between certain time periods? No more further questions. They'd get fucking chewed up, spit out. It's so bad. It's so bad. That was all just whim. No prep, just whim. Here you go. So when you heard that they were talking about the suspect vehicle starting in Indian Hills at 3:26, you didn't say to anybody, hey, you know what? We might need to take a look at that. That might be me and Nate. No. What blows my mind, he's actually saying under the penalty of perjury, hell yeah. And trust me, this does not mean this more or less goes with like when you want to talk about somebody, anybody can ever use to say like this is what would make your case like it would weaken it. If I was on the jury and I saw this and I'm like, wait a second. You basically have the same type of car, all right? When it's under like these type of lights, the light cars look white, look light. Even dark cars look light. You're lying about what time you're closing out a situation right across the street. Then you're lying about what time you're stopping these other people. Then you're saying that you're doing these loops back in that area, and yet there's no car in that area at that time making a loop ever. And yeah, I got a lot of questions. And as a juror, the questions are for me, if I was on the jury, is my questions would just be this. If I have questions, I can't vote guilty. And no, a touch DNA is not going to do it. And then I'm sitting there as a juror and I'm hearing, again, though, doesn't mean that he's fucking innocent. It just means, geez, what's going on here? Like, if I was the families, I'm like, you'd want that plea deal. You don't want any of this shit. Now, if they have you working a patrol that's like trying to catch like these like drugs and alcohol offenses and stuff like that, so that's, and then I would say you're just not looking for college students, right? It could be if you see me and I'm freaking 40 and doing face plants. Like you're gonna have some, like you're not just, oh, they're not a kid, they're not a college kid, I'm not gonna mess with it. Meaning somebody like Molly who's walking around would actually look like she was drunk, right? Or high because she can't really walk that well. And that would be like, what are you doing over here? What's up? Oh, you know what I would pull? I'd probably pull a Columbo and say, oh, one last thing I forgot. One last thing. Were you aware that the main detective in this case, Officer Payne, Detective Payne, are you aware that on November 24th or November 23rd, November 24th, he took your little car that you guys were driving around. What is it? Your undercover car? He took it and actually was making loops around town with it. Were you aware of that? Didn't you actually see him when you were watching the house on November 24th? Oh, would you like to be recollected? Okay, here you go. Okay, here you go. There you go. What is this? Would Officer Payne be accurate or inaccurate if on November, what is it? 24th at approximately 5 o'clock, 11/24/2022, I took the MPD school car, a silver Ford Fusion, and drove the route of the suspect vehicle. I drove two separate routes in front of the camera located at Ridge Road, once westbound on Lauder Ave, and then twice on Ridge Road, southbound and northbound. I advised the command post of the times of these runs and requested the video from the point of contact at 1125 Ridge Road in order to compare the color of the test vehicle to that of the suspect vehicle. Once I completed these runs, I drove to 1122 King Road and walked the route that Molly McMichael stated that she took while on foot near the house on 11/13/2022. I also parked the MPD school car on Queen Road immediately to the east of 1122 King Road in order to observe the effects of the orange tinted streetlights located in the area. The lights appeared to make the silver vehicle look tanner in color than it would under the white streetlights. I also walked down and spoke to Officer Tisdall, who was providing scene security at this time. Did you write up a report that you were doing scene security? Did you ever fill out a report? We don't have one in there of you being on scene security. So it just so happens that Officer Payne is in the car that you had the night of the homicides, right? He's driving around, he's testing it. And then he says that he goes over to you and he says, I spoke with Officer Tisdall for a moment. It doesn't say what he talked to you about. Do you recall that conversation? Do you care to share that conversation? Was he asking you, hey, this is the vehicle you guys were driving? Hey, I'm making loops. Is there anything that you want to tell me? Also, what ends up happening here is that Officer Tisdall, after Payne goes over to see, did you see that he was in the vehicle that you had I'm just curious. And then as he walks away, he notices a black glove laying in the parking lot, approximately 25 feet from the front door. The glove was laying palm up and appeared to have been laying in that spot for a couple of days, as it did not have any snow on it. I nudged the glove with the top of my boot and found it was frozen to the ground. I asked Officer Tisdall for rubber gloves and his flashlight. Upon further examination, there appeared to be a dark, fluid-like substance on the glove. This substance's color and consistency was consistent with dried blood. Officer Tisdall provided me with an evidence bag, and I collected the glove. So you just happen to be there, Tisdall, when this glove out of nowhere is found with blood on it, right? This glove is a Polar Penguin brand glove with a rubberized palm and fingers. This type of glove is often used for concrete work. I brought the glove back to MPD and booked it into MPD evidence for submission to the state lab. The video of the vehicle test runs, were later collected and added to the FBI video files for this case. Shut the fuck up. Ah, no way. Okay, so oh boy. December 14th report. Oh, Travis. Okay. (11/23/2022). 2022. Multiple images and videos depicting questioned vehicle received electronically on 11/23/2022. I am just so curious if there's at all a chance. Oh, first of all, Molly said that she saw a tan sedan, single occupant in the zone, blonde spiky hair. When you take a mask off, your hair that's normally patted down, straight down, becomes crazy and spiky, by the way. But I'm wondering, is there any chance that this little, at approximately 5 hours on 11/24, is there any chance that that could have been on 11/23? One AVM video depicting questioned vehicle received electronically on 12/7. So I guess I don't understand. Like, think about this. My thought process is, you would have known about Ridge Road cameras. We're gonna walk this back. For him to do this on 11/24, let's say it's accurate. He knows they've already collected Ridge Road. And why in the world would it ever be staggered then? What about paradise? Oh gosh, hold on. Oh my god. Oh my motherfucking god. Oh my god. Okay. Jack Showalter's phone call with David Hathaway. On 11/14/2022, at about 10:42 hours, dispatch advised they were forwarding a call to my cell phone. My phone briefly started to ring, but then it suddenly just stopped for some reason. The call was forwarded to the voicemail before I could answer it. When the voicemail came through to my phone, I learned it was from Jack Showalter. This is the first time supposedly reaching out, okay? The voicemail said, "Hey, how's it going? Yeah, my name is Jack Showalter. My phone number is 1-800 good time. I just wanted to make sure, or I'm sorry, I just wanted to make a statement to you guys because I was close friends with Maddie Mogan. I was with her at the corner club most of the night, and then after it, we left. We wanted to go to John's Alley, and we went to stopped at the grub truck. They got grub truck, then a car picked them up, and they left and went home. I just wanted to make sure a statement about something. I don't know if anything is helpful, but I was just with them like for a little bit, so if I can be of any help, I would like to. Give me a call, thank you. Well, he dials him back up. I talked to Showalter on the phone. Showalter essentially said that the same thing that he just said in the voicemail he left. Showalter said he was out with Maddie at the corner club until about 2:30. Showalter said several times he did not know who the other girl was with them that night. Showalter described the girls getting into a silver sedan. Eric Grower. Eric Grower, are you sure? A silver sedan, huh? I confirmed Showalter's name. I also confirmed with Showalter he drove to his parents' house at blank in Boise. I asked Showalter how long he planned to be at his house. I'll be damned. There's more. Oh, holy shit. Okay. On November 16th, they went after Showalter's phone. This one's his. 100. Then on November 18th, I logged into the Uber law enforcement portal and submitted. Here we go. Eric with the phone number. Due to the nature of the investigation, Uber recommended, yep. In a screenshot received from Olivia, it showed messages which appeared to be from him. Between the name of the recipient is Kaylee Uber. Wait a second. Oh, hold on. Oh my God. In a screenshot received from Olivia, it showed messages which appeared. But if it's actually a screenshot of the back and forth, it has the person, it wouldn't have his own name on it. If it's from his phone. Okay, let me explain what I mean by that. Okay. Jack Showalter did not do this. I didn't say that Jack Showalter did. Jack Showalter didn't do shit. Who's saying that he did? These undercover cops that night, they're the ones that are heavily lying. So if someone's just turning in screenshots, that wouldn't show who, especially by like a third party. If the driver was not on duty, Uber would not have the data. I was informed by Uber customer service. This is common if the driver provides personal transportation services. I received an email from Uber stating they received. Okay. I reviewed the email in approximately 1617 hours from Uber, which contained files regarding the Uber logs of Eric. The records showed his location up in approximately till 1:15, where it appears no other information is found and blank goes off duty. These records were attached to the case file. Remember how I told you Eric played Santa? Eric played Santa for the police. Attic. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hold on. I have a picture of something. Attic. Where are you? Oh boy. Attic. Well, I could tell somebody like, hey, will you just say that you picked somebody up? Make these out of, I'll send you these screenshots. You provide them to whoever, and will you cover for us to be that you gave these people a ride home and it wasn't us? Shit. Eric, what have you done? We are considering all options right now, Eric. Attic. Attic plays Santa. Attic. There's Santa. They just had a baby. Maddie knew all about the baby. I mean, not Maddie, but Bethany knew all about the baby. Damn. I'm going to have to hunt through my shit. I have a picture, though. Bless America. It's of vehicles. I have all my vehicles somewhere. Oh, I think I found it. Well, until next time. Hold on a second. Okay. Undercovers. So on November 17th, 2022, I requested the assistance of Officer John Rosinski to recontact the people that have the 1112 camera. And there's a guy that's walking at 320, which is right before the undercover car, like, pulls away. On November 13th, I'm trying to see the different dates if they were going back and forth and getting the video over there. November 18th, I again attempted to view the contents of the SD card. I plugged the card into a right blocker, and it still was not recognized. So it couldn't do it on November 18th. While attempting to view the data on the card, I received a forwarded email from the girl whose sister owns the house, and the email stated that he was viewing the video remotely when Officer Morris removed the camera. He said he saw a suspicious vehicle in the area and was concerned with the video footage stored on the device being overwritten. I was then put in touch with whoever the girl is. And we want to assist, okay, to capture this suspicious video. I reinstalled the camera in the light socket and it powered on. I was able to watch as Blank accessed the footage on the camera. During this time, the camera showed a vehicle entering the area at approximately 3:56 and leaving at a high rate of speed at approximately 420. Yay! I win! I win! Woo! Fuck yeah, take that to the bank. Whoa! Do you guys know what that means? The 356 video, the 356 car. The 356 car. Look at 356 car and leaving at a high rate of speed at approximately 420. The 356 car. Fucking A. That's why Aunt Taylor fucking used it. Then, now let's take a look-see here. Blaine provided the video to me. I uninstalled the camera and seized the wireless router, but okay. Now, on November 19th, while reviewing the video located at 356 and 420, it appeared the vehicle left the area and may have traveled on Walenta Drive. However, the vehicle stopped. I'm sorry, the video stopped. In an attempt to see, so on November 19th, while reviewing the videos. So let's go back to that report. Oh my God. Yes. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. In an attempt to see further and gain perhaps a better resolution. I reconstructed the wireless network the camera operated on by powering on the wireless router. I downloaded the Home Eye Pro app on my work phone. Who? Lawrence Mowry. Oh my God, shut up. Oh God. I was able to use the app and download the video clips. These clips included audio, which were not a part of the screenshots completed, and were able to capture a larger duration. In the clips, the vehicle's exhaust and acceleration can be heard, as well as seeing the vehicle leave at a high rate of speed. I'm willing to drive. Detective Mowry, you son of a bitch. Oh my God, what report number is that? 28. Oh my God. On November 19th, at approximately, so that's the first day that they would have ever known about the that time 56. Okay, when was that written? Shut up. Wow. He never writes his reports on the same day, and he wrote his report on the same day. Then on November 19th, at approximately noon, I met with Detective Mowry, who tasked me with downloading surveillance video footage from several U.S. memory drives. Detective Mowry gave me multiple small manila envelope which contained USB memory drives collected from multiple different investigators. Detective Mowry asked me to download the videos from all the drives and to place them on an external hard drive, which he provided to me. Once that task was completed, Detective Mowry asked me to copy all of the videos from the portable hard drive to the drive on out of the city of the muscle network, where he created a folder where working copies of the videos could be stored. After downloading the videos from the individual the USB memory drive, again, which ones, I placed them back into the manila envelopes they came from and sealed them with the evidence tape. Okay. I did find 2 of the USB memory drives, which came from the same envelope, did not contain any video footage. Which ones? What day? 2, right? 2.
On 11/21/2022, I was asked by Detective Adams with the Idaho State Police to book 2 cigarette butts into evidence that he collected. Detective Adams brought the 2 cigarette butts to the Moscow Police Department. This is from Boise. Okay. We needed to find the phones for a second. Sorry. All right, so we need Xana's phone. On November 15th, I contacted Detective David Taylor of the Coeur d'Alene Police Department with a request for an agency assist. I requested assistance unlocking the cell phones of Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan, the victims in the case. I emailed Detective Taylor a copy of the signed warrant describing the phones as being searchable. On November 16th, 2022, the phones were transported to CDA Police Department for a forensic force attempt to unlock them. However, Detective Taylor stated that he was not able to extract any information from the locked phones, and the phones were not supported for the brute force PIN code extraction. The phones were then returned to the Moscow Police Department on November 17th. I then asked for assistance from Captain Tyson Barrett and attempted to gain PIN codes from the family members. I was provided PIN codes for Romogan, Xana, and Ethan, which successfully unlocked the device. The PIN codes provided for Gonsalves' phone did not unlock the device. On the 3 devices I was able to unlock, I performed advanced logical extractions. He did. Maury did. What day? Now, why the fuck would you do that if you're going to then do on the 3 devices I was able to, I performed advanced illogical extractions on the devices at the Moscow Police Department. A report for each device will be completed separately. And I said, wow, why wouldn't you do a full file your first time? On November 20th, 2022, I again requested the assistance of Detective Taylor in gaining a full file system extraction on the 3 unlocked devices. Exactly the why. I don't understand why you didn't do that the first time. The phones were delivered to CDA Police Department on November 21st, 2022. On November 22nd, 2022, Detective Taylor stated he would not be able to complete the extractions. Why? Oh, well, on November 23rd, I went to the CDA Police Department and picked up the phones. I then took them to the Post Falls Police Department and spoke with Detective Neil Urig. Detective Urig informed me his forensic tools would not support a full file system extraction. On November 25th, I went to Walla Walla Police Department. What an idiot. Detective Marc stated that he would be able to support it on the unlocked devices and would be able to complete limited extraction on Kaylee's locked device. I left the phones with Walla Walla. Dude, oh my God. On November 28th, he informed me that the extractions were completed and ready to be picked up. On November 29th, Detective Justin picked up the phones and returned them to the Moscow Police Department. I received the 4 devices and placed them in the secure computer forensic lab. The extracted data was copied to the forensic computers and verified by hash values. Perfect. Do you guys see, though? An examination of the data will be completed at my earliest convenience. That means he didn't. So you have Molly. Okay, Molly. You're trying to... I wonder if it would have been available on this logical one. What about, I know that they did Bethany and Dylan's on the 13th, but he's like, I'll get to that when I want to look at it some other time. Where's Eric? There we go. Okay. All right. This is a report from the 26th, or this is the 26th report. This is the 68 report. Okay. Lawrence Mowry doing both of them, and therefore Eric's Uber location request. So I don't understand. So here, this is the 26th one. Let's see if we can pick out why he would have needed to do another report. On November 18th, I logged into the Uber law enforcement portal and submitted an extended preservation request for any location data associated with the Uber driver named Eric with the phone number of blank. Okay, that's the same thing. That's the same. And a screenshot received from Olivia. That's the same. It is unknown if. It is unknown if. At 14:34 hours, I received an email from Uber stating they received my request. Same. I received an email at approximately 16:17 hours from Uber, which contained files regarding the Uber logs of the fuck. Okay, here's the difference. Wait, what? Okay. It's the last sentence. So if you write it, he basically writes up the same exact thing, except the last sentence. These records were attached to the case file. No warrant was requested or returned as Uber provided the data via the extension request. Ready for this? Where the fuck is your interview of the goddamn guy? Who interviewed him? Because then you decide that you need to file this on 12/12, and it says the same thing except it's taking off the last part. Why are you writing this up again? What the hell are you guys doing? What the fuck are these people doing? So we have basically Eric, and there's no way. I mean, we have his location up until 1:15, where it appears no other information is found and Blanco's off duty. Well, then wouldn't you go and take his phone number and produce, hey, where does he fall in the geofence? Just so we're clear, 1:15, Kaylee and them get picked up at 1:52, and then they're back at 1:56. And this is what's crazy is Olivia saying that she was able to get this. The guy sent that guy would have never been able. He would have been able to send text messages, but did the guy actually send text messages not from his account, but somebody else's account? I don't know why you would write this report again. You don't need to. There's nothing in this report. It's the same exact report. Except in this one, he doesn't mention that. All right, we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Go rock it out. Thank you so, so much. Undercovers, run for cover. Peace out, peeps.